Hello Scalar friends, this is Bernd from the Scalar forum. Inspired by our friend Claudio's first Scalar video tutorial, Scalar workflow tutorial, how he uses Scalar to make his music, I figured I'll create one about my workflow and also as encouragement for Claudio and others to create more videos demonstrating, showcasing their work, how they use Scalar. I think we're all interested in that, and I think the intention matters more than the style. Do not get discouraged by all these professional YouTubers who act more like marketeers. So there's plenty of non-native English speakers out there. So accents don't matter. With goodwill, we all can understand what somebody's talking about, especially when they show it. So I'm a non-native speaker myself. It doesn't come through when I type. But I'm fairly new to making YouTube videos as well, so I think it's fine. So I'm going to show you a typical workflow, how I use Scalar, and I'm going to play something real quick as to what the outcome is of this little sketch. Here it goes. So it's a little piano piece, and I don't play piano. I hardly know my way around on the keyboard. I do everything in software. I use the piano roll and tools like Scalar, right? Because I don't know music theory, that's why I got Scalar in the first place. And the way I have this set up, I have a little clip here. First of all, let me show you all the components involved. So there's Scalar, then I have RandARP. It's also a MIDI plugin. Doesn't make any sounds. It takes notes in, like usually chords, and then it turns them into arpeggiated sequences with various control over randomness. And then I have NOR, which is a contact instrument from Native Instruments. It's the sampling of Niels Fromm's piano. I think it sounds lovely, and it has a really great response here to velocity, and not just in terms of loudness, but just the sound evolves depending on how hard you hit the keys, just like with a real piano. So just find that between Scalar providing me with the harmonic chord progressions, RandARP helping me with the expressions. So RandARP is a little bit dynamically what Scalar does with its performances, except they're not pre-recorded, they're just dynamically, randomly interpreted. This is our whole discussion about what an arpeggiator should do. If RandARP would be built into Scalar, that'd be heaven. But in the meantime, it works just fine. And the other thing that I do, I run all this in Bitwig, which is a digital audio workstation. Close all this here. And I've been on Ableton, I still use it occasionally, but why I like Bitwig, it might not be comparable to digital audio workstations that are used mostly in arranger mode. This is basically if you do anything with MIDI. So I have a single track here, and in that track I can have multiple plugins chained one after another, right? So from left to right I have Scalar, I play notes, right, here's my piano roll. I play these simple notes into Scalar. Within Scalar, I use key binding, so Scalar itself plays a chord. That output chord goes into RandARP, which then expresses it. You know, does it play up or down? What's the note order here? Up, down, or random? And then each note, how long do you hold it with a gate? How much velocity? What's the likelihood that that note actually gets played? So that's what the probability does here. Just RandARP has so many nice settings where they make it sound less mechanic. It sounds more like a human. Instead of just mechanically going up and down a chord in an arpeggiator, you can just, each note gets expressed dynamically, and then you can randomly tell which notes gets played or not, and then you arrive more at like phrase type expressions, and that it would sound like an arpeggiator. And then of course the piano here, so I can have multiple MIDI devices back to back, and that's pretty rare to do in most other DAWs. Also what I do here, I have another track with a different instrument, Zebra from Yuhi. It's a lovely synth for cinematic sounds. I like doing ambient sounds, pads, drones, soundscapes, and there's gazillions of presets for that. And of course, if you know your way around, you can create new ones as well. And what I do is I pick from this track, I can pull down the MIDI output from the track with a node receiver device in Bitwig. Not only can I pull it from that track, but I can tell what device in that track. So within the track called Scalar Piano, I can either pull it right out of the scalar device or after the RandARP, and after contact there's not really anything, but that's really unique in my observation of the market, that you can that precisely route your MIDI around. So I really only have one scalar instance in this whole project, because here's a third track also driven by scalar. It's still, I pull it from that first track scalar instance, because scalar provides me the chords, and then here's a second RandARP instance that has a different timing, different probability settings, different transposition. So that's my lower piano, the left hand, lower register piano. So if I just play it solo, this would be. Oh, and by the way, yes, also I have a delay here, native instrument replica. Doesn't matter which one you use, it's just my favorite one. And then I have a reverb rev intensity from Maturia. I like that also. These are scent effects. So that's just the single piano, just that one track makes this sound. Just with the reverb and delay, it sounds lovely already in my mind. I'm going to add the piano to it. Register. It's more like an accompaniment in the bass register, right? And then here's the chords. That's all there is. And yes, it is very simplistic. Like this took me 3 minutes to put together. I've done this a couple times before, so obviously it doesn't include the research time, but the whole point is to illustrate how I start my workflows with Scalar, how quickly you can put something together if you have a DAW that allows you to put MIDI to daisy chain MIDI devices, reroute it, right? Why I often talk about Bitwig, how much flexibility it gives me that way from a creative standpoint. But it's a new workflow. It's probably not the one more classical musicians are used to. So this is super helpful for people like me who don't have a musical background. That is more like a lab, experimental, just like Scalar itself as well. Right, so I'll leave it at this. If you have any questions, when you want to discuss it, we can do this in the forum, and if you want me to deep dive on anything, I'll be happy to make another video. So enjoy, and I'll talk to you soon in the forum. Take care.